What's going on, guys? S.Belt MMA here with actually some combat jiu-jitsu. This is actually my first time trying combat jiu-jitsu. What happens is you can do open palm strikes, and that starts once you get to the ground. So here I'm with Mathieu as we get things going. He drops down into his open guard. Here he's going to try to sweep me. He gets his leg in between, he almost gets a sweep. I'm able to drop my knee down. From here, I move in. I kind of have him in half guard from here. From here, he was working to try and kind of work his way out to the side. I noticed that he worked this technique a lot, and so this was actually good to learn a lot about his style of play. And there were a couple techniques that he pulled off on me in multiple times in the different times that we rolled, and the same went for me. So here he's trying to work me to the side, and again I'm working on Sao Paulo passing. Here he's trying to maintain his guard and going for the omoplata again because of the style of passing I was working on this particular day was the Sao Paulo pass. Here I'm able to push the foot and then start to pass. Then he actually resets it, and then he gets control. For me, because, again, I have a significant size advantage here, you see I get a little smack off on his ass just to be a little bit silly. So as we get going, he's going to push through for the omoplata, but again, I'm so much bigger than he is. You see, I can just kind of lift up and roll through here, but he does a good job of kind of maintaining the control. So from here, he was like grabbing at my foot to force a kind of a balance shift, and then he pulls me into the diamond to try and attempt a triangle. But for me, I would say probably one of my best defenses is my triangle defense. And then from here, you see I'm able to pass, and then I'm getting some strikes on his hips. On his side, and but he's working to try to get out from here. He's trying to get more focus on the half guard. I went to go to switch over to the other side, and you'll see here as I switch, I went to go cartwheel over, but we ran out of space, so we ended up resetting. So as we reset, we get going here. I'm in his open guard again. Here he's trying to break my posture. I'm pulling out. As he comes in for the half guard, here I throw a palm strike to the face, and then I throw my whizzer in. And as I'm throwing the whizzer in, what I really should have been focusing on was trying to get my leg out. But I know that I'm maintaining my posture here. I go to switch over and try to mount, but he does a good job of blocking my leg as we roll over. Here he's got me in his closed guard, but my hands are over top, so I'm placing heavy shoulder pressure, and he gets a couple of palm strikes to the face, and I do the same. So as I'm working here, trying to open the guard, again he was working that position of maintaining his closed guard, and then he would attempt to work the similar position to the where he ended up getting the omoplata in the first place. You see him kind of turn his body to the side. Here he was focused on getting to an arm as I was the style of passing I was doing with less control. I like heavy pressure passes because with no gi, you don't have the grips that you do with the gi on. Here he ends up getting double overhooks and locking my arms in. So for me, my thinking is, what's the best mode here? You see he gets the foot on the hip. I ended up just switching my hips out so that he can't really get anything from there, and then getting my arm out, attempting to try to Sao Paulo pass again and get control of his wrist. He doesn't allow me to do so. From here, I would say that usually I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead, but I could tell Mathieu was thinking maybe 4 or 5 steps ahead. As you see here, he goes to the side. I'm trying to control the wrist so that he doesn't get that pressure. What I should have done also was trying to take away the underhook. Again, I kind of allow him to have it, and from here I'm placing, again, heavy head pressure, and then we end up in half guard. Now from the half guard, I'm usually thinking pass first. He's attempting. You see here, he's either attempting to sweep or try to take my back. And when he can't, he realizes that he can't. He just resets his closed guard. So for me, I then end up tripoding, placing heavy pressure. He goes to try to sweep again. For me, that's one thing I'm very mindful of is not getting swept. Here we were in this position for a little while, and then he ended up doing something I'm not exactly sure, where he ended up in top half guard. Now from here you see I'm getting some slaps to the back and to the side, and you really use the slaps as a means of distraction. Here he's placing heavy shoulder pressure. I go to try to get a takedown from the ground, but I didn't close down on his legs, and he ends up on top here. You can see he's got the palm strikes going towards the head. I try to get out of that and roll out, but he's able to get some more strikes off here. I want to keep his hips away so that he doesn't end up in the full position. And from here, I should have just focused on getting my leg in more, but because he was in such a top-heavy position, it was a little bit more difficult for me to get my legs closer, and he was focusing on trying to gain control over my arms and use the slaps to do that. And from there, I end up rolling into the turtle position, and then he ends up locking my arms down, and you'll see from here he ends up taking my back again. And that one thing I'll say is it was essentially a master class in back taking going against Mathieu. He's awesome from the back. Again, with the palm strikes, your focus is on, one, trying to defend, but then also trying to get out. There's about another 3 minutes of rolling that isn't in the video, again, because of there was some things that were out of frame. But here I'm defending, trying to make sure I don't give up anything. I'm not going to get choked out. Here you see my arms kind of cross over. What you want to do is you want to make sure you have your arms in a position where they can defend to help you get out. And I admittedly didn't do that in this round, so my focus was on defending, on one, controlling his wrist so that he couldn't get a lot of chokes off or get the slaps off. Here you see he ends up flattening me out again. By this point, we end up rolling a little bit over 10 minutes, so fatigue did start to set in a little bit. I have no problem rolling for longer periods of time, but with the slaps, and going with a guy with such good pressure and movement, it was, more tiring, and this is maybe this was our last roll of the day. So here, I'm focusing on defending and making sure there's nothing that he can get off on me, and then trying to work to get out. But here he goes to try to attempt the armbar, and then right as he goes for it, I believe I start to kind of pop up, and then right as I pop up, the time ends. So thank you guys again for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. Thanks.